If you're watching this video right now, know that it's no coincidence. Maybe something isn't going right in your life, and perhaps you don't even fully understand why. Maybe you've lost a dream that meant a lot to you, or someone very dear to your heart is no longer by your side. Or perhaps there's a deep sadness eating away at you from within, and you can't quite explain why. Sometimes, no matter how hard we try, it feels as if nothing changes, doesn't it? And it's precisely at moments like these that we all tend to make the same mistake. Do you know what that mistake is? Believing that it's over, thinking there's no way out. But often, our greatest transformations begin exactly at the moments when we feel most helpless. Life sometimes meets us in our darkest and most hopeless moments with exactly the message we need. And this video you're watching right now is here to deliver that message directly to you. If you dedicate just a few minutes and watch this video until the end, you may begin to see your troubles from an entirely new perspective. You might feel the flame of hope reigniting within you and discover doors opening that you never even knew existed. Before we start, I have a small but important request. To support this type of content, could you please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up? Also by writing "I'm ready for change" in the comments, you can show that we're embarking on this special journey together. I truly believe there's a reason this message has reached you. Who else do you think needs to hear it? Don't forget to tag that special person in the comments and share this message. Now, please take a deep breath with me and ask yourself this question. Am I really trapped in a hopeless situation, or is there a path forward that I simply can't see yet? If your answer is that there might indeed be a path, let's explore it together. Are you ready? Then, let's begin. A very long time ago, atop a magnificent mountain that soared above the clouds, there lived a wise chef. But this chef was a bit different from the ones we know. He had an extraordinary talent. Whoever knocked on his door with a problem, no matter what it was, he would prepare a special soup for them. And anyone who drank that soup would find the solution to their problem. But reaching the chef wasn't easy at all. The mountain he lived on was so intimidating, so majestic, that just looking at it from a distance filled people's hearts with fear. With its steep cliffs, sudden storms, and dangerous pathways, climbing that mountain seemed almost impossible. The townspeople constantly warned, "Never climb that mountain. Those who try either disappear or never return. The paths are steep, the rocks are slippery, and every step carries the risk of death." Therefore, only those who had completely lost all hope and had nothing left to lose dared to make that journey. Even those who felt they had no reason left to live would set out, driven by just the smallest glimmer of hope remaining deep inside their hearts. One day, a young man stood at the foot of the mountain, feeling profound sadness and hopelessness as he looked toward the peak. Trembling with fear, he nevertheless took his first step. At first, the path seemed incredibly difficult and frightening, but as he continued, he began noticing hidden pathways, narrow trails along cliff edges, and small footholds he hadn't seen before. With each careful step, the obstacles ahead seemed less impossible. As he gradually approached the summit, the darkness within him began to fade. By the time he finally reached the peak, he was exhausted but hopeful. When he knocked on the wise chef's door, the chef greeted him quietly. And before the young man could say a word, he began speaking about his troubles. "First, I lost my dreams," he said sadly. Then the people I trusted left me, one by one. I've lost myself completely, and I have no idea which path I should take. Maybe it's time I just give up. The wise chef listened silently, looking deeply into the young man's eyes. There was no judgment or surprise, only quiet, profound understanding. Without saying a word, the chef took 3 items from the table: a carrot, an egg, and a handful of coffee beans. The young man watched, puzzled, as the wise chef silently placed these items into a pot of boiling water. Minutes passed as steam gently rose from the pot. Finally, the chef broke the silence, saying, "Life sometimes throws us into boiling water. Pain, hardships, and difficulties cook us, change us. But not everyone reacts to boiling water the same way. Which one will you be?" First, the chef took out the carrot. When the young man held it, he noticed it was no longer firm and strong. It had become soft and fragile. This carrot, the wise chef explained, was once strong and tough. But the boiling water made it weak and vulnerable. Some people are like that. Hardships make them lose their strength. Next, the chef removed the egg from the pot and handed it to the young man. "What about the egg?" asked the chef. "On the outside, it seems unchanged, right? But take a look inside." The young man cracked open the egg and saw that it had become hardened on the inside. "Some people," the chef continued, "appear unchanged on the outside, but their struggles have hardened them within." Just as the wise chef was about to take out the coffee beans, the young man, full of curiosity, eagerly asked, "What about the coffee beans?" The wise chef smiled softly and replied, "Now, that's the most important part. This is another type of transformation," the wise chef continued gently. "Some people become exactly like this when they face hardships. Once, their hearts were soft, warm, and full of love, but the pain they've endured has slowly hardened them from the inside. On the outside, they might seem unchanged, but something deep within has frozen, hardened, and become lost. Pain has taken away their ability to feel love." The young man nodded thoughtfully. He understood, but his curiosity was still fixated on the coffee beans inside the pot. The wise chef smiled again, dipped his ladle back into the pot, and carefully drew out the hot water, now colored dark brown by the beans. He poured it gently into a bowl and handed it to the young man. "But the coffee beans," he continued softly, "did something entirely different. They didn't just change, they also changed their surroundings. The hot water didn't destroy them. Instead, they transformed the water itself, giving it color, aroma, and flavor. Instead of letting hardships weaken them, they transformed the difficult situation into something entirely new." The young man gazed into the bowl, inhaling the comforting aroma of fresh coffee. Warmth filled him, and the chef fixed his gentle gaze on him, asking, "Which one will you be? How will you be changed by hardship? Will you soften and crumble like the carrot, harden inside like the egg and lose your feelings, or transform your situation into something new, like the coffee beans?" There was a moment of thoughtful silence. The young man pondered deeply, as the chef's words echoed inside his heart. The wise chef continued, "Life sometimes throws us into boiling water. At these moments, we might feel helpless, angry, or completely broken. We cannot always change what happens to us, but how we react to those hardships is entirely up to us. If we choose to break down, we never learn how to stand firm." The young man looked once more at the steaming bowl of coffee. feeling something within him begin to shift. If we allow external circumstances to control us, the chef went on, our pain slowly becomes our identity. We become trapped within ourselves, building walls around us. But there's something crucial you must remember. Walls don't only keep others out, they also trap what's inside. Over time, these walls block out not just pain and disappointment, but also love, hope, and dreams. Eventually, we become afraid to feel, hesitant to trust, and forget the colors of life. But if we choose to become like the coffee beans, the wise chef continued, that's when everything changes. We don't let life's boiling waters overwhelm us. Instead, we reshape those waters according to our strength. We gain wisdom from our pain and transform our losses into new beginnings. We're not afraid of falling because we know that every fall holds within it the power to rise again. When life challenges you, said the chef softly, ask yourself this question: what am I becoming in this boiling water? We've now reached the end of this journey, and it's your turn. As you've listened to this story, what did you feel? Which emotions surfaced? Perhaps it touched a memory, triggered a journey into your past, or reflected the very struggle you're facing right now. Whatever it is, it's no coincidence that you're here. This video isn't telling you to minimize or ignore life's hardships. I know that some wounds never heal completely. Some disappointments leave deep scars. You can't always bring back what you've lost or replace what's gone, but you can find yourself again. Transforming pain means not allowing life's hardships to defeat you. When you find yourself in the midst of a storm, instead of tiring yourself out fighting the waves, learn to harness the wind. Remember, the greatest transformations often arrive with the strongest winds. And don't forget, the strongest trees grow in valleys where the wind blows the hardest. Now, as you finish watching this video, ask yourself once again, what will I become through these hardships? I hope your answer will be to become someone who transforms life like the coffee beans.